Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Greg. I'm from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. I've been given some advice on the SHSAT, and we were started to talk about ninth grade math. A lot of the tutors online and even not online are just only covering eighth grade math. So I figured, what the heck? Let's look at this other part. I did two other videos already. One was the first 5 questions of the 2018 handbook, and we'll just look at some of the others. I did a second video because I made a misstatement when I was going over problem number 3. So this is the third one. The questions are actually not too bad. At least I don't think they are. So why don't we just jump right into this and see how far we can get. I'm exhausted, so I just want to bing bang boom through this. Two SHSAT days happened already. October 20 and 21st last weekend. Tomorrow is Saturday. There's one I think is on Tuesday, November 1st is the next group of SHSATs. And then there's some on November 3rd and November 18th. So there's still a bunch of SHSATs, including ninth grade ones. This is also great for replay viewers if you're going to watch this next year or something. Hopefully the SHSAT's still existing because the mayor is raising proposals that perhaps the test should be removed. So we'll have to see what happens between the city council and the New York State legislature. But there's enough complexity and diversity here. Who knows what's going to happen? In the meantime, it's still happening this year. So let me try to jump in here, and let's just start up. Okay, so let me try to bring up the test paper. Okay, there we go. It's on my screen. Let's see, we did. No, it's not on my screen. What's going on? 1 second here. Okay, so we're up to question 5. The next question is number 6. And let me load up a, actually for this, yeah, let me load up a whiteboard. One second. Okay, those should both be displaying now. Let's just make sure on my other version, here they are. Okay, yes. So, this one I can probably just speak through. So it says a straight line L passes through the origin. So we can see L in the upper right hand corner of things over here. I'm not sure if my cursor is appearing or not. I'm pretty sure it does when I do the whiteboard. I have to figure out how to get a transparent whiteboard on this so I can use the cursor, because I know it definitely shows through the whiteboard. Anyway, line L passes through the origin, O, and as shown in the figure above. What is the slope of L in terms of A and B? Okay, so we notice there's 2 points on the line. That one has coordinates A and B, and the other has coordinates 2A and 2B, right? So this one is kind of a no-brainer. It really doesn't matter that it passes through the origin. What really matters to do the slope is to make sure that we have at least 2 coordinates that we can quote subtract from each other. So we do have that. So we kind of don't care that it passes the origin. That's extra information at this point. So to figure out the slope of something, the standard procedure is do the rise over the run. In other words, the difference in the y's over the difference in the x's. Technically, it doesn't matter which order you do it in, but let's just go through simplicity purposes. If we do the rise, which is the y coordinates, we have 2b and b. And the x coordinates is over the run, which is 2a and a. So if we do 2b minus b, and let me go to the whiteboard at this point. 2b minus b over the difference in the x's. So we get 2a minus a. And this is all theatrics for just saying that it's just b over a. And let me flip back to the other screen for a second, which means the answer should be h. Okay, that's pretty straightforward stuff that you probably learned years ago. If not, this kind of question comes up all the time. It may even come up in some flavors in the grade 8 test. So that it's on the grade 9 test definitely reinforces that you're supposed to know really what this is about. Okay? Alright, so let me move the whiteboard so you can get to view the next question. Question number 7. Let me see, can I get question 7 completely on the screen? No, I don't seem to be able to. So let's just work through it as it is. The graph shows the wolf population in the Yellowstone National Park since the year 2000. So we see what I like to do when I have a math problem is I actually don't like to read the question. I like to analyze the illustration first and make sure I understand it. What I'm going to do is throw questions at it without knowing what the questions is, without knowing what the intro paragraph is, and without knowing what the answers are. So I see I have some sort of chart. It's in graph form. It's titled Wolf Population. So I know something is happening about wolves now. The bottom says years since 2000. So I'm seeing from year 2000 to 2014. Okay? The left-hand side shows number of wolves. So it's 80, 90, going all the way up. So I can say, for instance, in 2013, there was 95 wolves. I hope everybody can track that. Okay? And I could do stuff like, say, you know, which year had the most amount of wolves. It seemed to be around the 2002 to the 2003. I guess 2003 was the top number of wolves at 175. So when I notice this a slope, the number of wolves seems to be declining. The lowest was also in 2012. So I kind of beat this around, and I think I understand it. So now I'm going to go back to the top, which is where I should have started from. And I suggest everybody does this, because now you've read all the labels, you've looked at all the coordinates, you have some sense of what the x coordinates are about, the y coordinates, and the graph and the labeling of the axes, including the numbers that are filled in. Okay? So now the graph shows the world population in the Yellowstone Park since 2000. And all these will be snap decisions. This is not something that's going to take you half an hour to do. You're going to be a busybody. You're going to look at the illustration, chart, table, whatever they give you, and analyze it and ask yourself some questions about it. And then you're going to go back to the question. So the graph shows the population since 2000. A student drew a line of best fit to model the data. Okay, so somebody did that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up a little to try to fit the answers on the screen. Can we do that? Yeah, I think we can. Let me go back into here and see if that fits. Nope, not exactly. Let me just tweak this up a little more. Yeah, that seems good now. So, which statement best describes the line of best fit that the student drew? So again, we have this notion of bestness. We want the best answer here. So there might be multiple ones that are true. So you want to find the most truest one, or the best one. Because you just don't want to say, for instance, you see A and go, oh yeah, that kind of matches, and there was actually a better answer. So you still need to always read all answers as a test taking strategy. Okay, so which statement best describes the line of best fit that the student drew? So let me give you guys a second just to look at it, and let's kind of analyze each one. So A, the line of best fit is not a strong model for the data because the points are not close to the line. Well, let's think about it. There's actually two that are basically on the line, and there's a few near it. However, that said, one of the problems we have is there's kind of not enough data points, and the few that are there are not really super close to it. So for now, A is certainly true, but is it the best one? So we're going to give A a thought there. Let me do this. I don't know if this is going to work, so let me try this. No, I don't know where it is. See, I have three software programs running at once, and I can't. Yeah, actually, that worked. Okay, so okay, B. The line of best fit is not a strong model for the data because it does not pass through any of the data points. Well, that seems to be false because the 100 the 2002 dot is it certainly connects to the line. So I don't know if it exactly touches it, but it's there. And also the 2000 almost 2013 dot almost connects to it too. So to say it doesn't pass through any, I don't buy it. So I'm going to rule that one out. Okay, C. The line of best fit is a strong model for the data because both the line and the data show a negative trend. Now, that's what was my analysis when I first looked at the table. I noticed that the wolf population was diminishing. And the fact that the best fit line also does that, it's just following that same trend. So that's almost redundant. But in any event, they're definitely in both indicate negative trends, and but that in and of itself doesn't make it a strong model because it depends on the variation of your data and etc. etc. So I don't buy C either. And furthermore, I buy it less than I buy A. So I'm going to rule out C as well. Okay, D says the line of best fit is a strong model for the data because about half the data points are on either side of the line. So that's interesting. If we count the bottom points, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we count the top points, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's kind of the one above it, 7. So that's true. There is about half the data points on either side. There is a slight problem, though. There's those 3 dots above the 170 line. They're outliers. So even though the wolf population, that doesn't mean the faults. Even though the wolf population may have done well those years, there's freak things like maybe an extra warm that year, or and vegetation grew more, or the winter may not have been as bad, or a thousand things. So those numbers are the outliers. So even though it's true there's about 7 on each side, D doesn't indicate a best fit. Because again, remember the student drew this through the dots to try to get a balanced thing here. And if the outliers are not considered, then it's basically 2 dots on the line, 3 above it, and 7 below it. Now, if this was 1,003 versus 1,007, then they would be pretty balanced. But this is 3 versus 7. So it's basically a third versus 2/3. So that's not about half the data. So just by definition, D is wrong, and therefore A is right. Okay? All right, let me see if this is still running on the other side. Yeah, that's still running. Okay, so let's try to go to the next question. Where are we? 7. So the next question is 8. Okay, so eight's going to get ugly on the whiteboard here. So let me try to refresh the whiteboard. Oh wait, I don't know if you guys can see 8 yet. No, you can't really. Okay, let me try to move the whiteboard into some reasonable place. Okay, there. Okay, let me refresh the whiteboard. Okay, there we go. Okay, So to determine the price of servicing a car, a mechanic charges a fixed fee plus an hourly rate for each hour he works. If his price for 4 hours of service is $270 and his price for 7 hours of work is $420, what is the fixed price fee? All right, so let me bring this up on my paper copy because I need to write some stuff on the whiteboard to make sense of this. This in a lot of problems, there's more than one way to do this, so I kind of want to show you both ways. And at the end of the day, they're actually equal. So let's just kind of force fit it. All right, so what does it say again? Let's see. To determine the price of servicing a car, a mechanic charges a fixed fee plus an hourly rate. So if his price for 4 hours of service is $720, that means there was the fee plus 4 hours I'm going to make this a Z just because the horizontal lines are not too deep. Is 420? No, sorry, 270. You know, I'll figure out a thicker thing the next time we go through this. And then the other thing is that the fixed fee plus 7 hours is 420. So now that we've kind of symbolized F is the fee and H is the hours, let me just make sure I have the right numbers. Oh, yes, I do. What we need to do is try to solve them both somehow. So if we work on the first equation, we get F equals $270 minus 4H. And if you work on the second one, we get F equals 420 minus 7H. That means because we have F on both sides here, that we can make these both equal. So we can get 270 minus 4H equals 420 minus 7H. So so this was 270. If we subtract 270 from here, subtract 270 from both sides, whoops. And what do we get here? So then this goes away. We get 150, right? That's a bad 5. And if we add 7H to both sides, that's a bad 7 too. We got 3H. So we get H equals, oh man, this is, H equals 50. Okay. Oh, why does my phone keep ringing? I don't know what's happening. Okay. So we get H is 50. So we go to question number 8. Where's 8 again? We notice there's a bunch of numbers there. But there's a problem here. What is that? We haven't solved. We're trying to look. The question is, what is the fixed fee? Not what is H. The question is, what is F? Okay. So 50 is choice number E. So remember that this is a multi-step problem, and we're not finished solving the problem. When you're in a high-stakes test, hey, how you doing? When you're in a high-stakes test, it's easy to miss the fact that there's a second part to a problem, and often they're going to give the answer that's already there, the temporary answer that you're supposed to be using. So now that we know what H is, we can plug it back in. So if we take the original line, 4 plus F plus 4H is 270. Well, if we plug in 50, we get F plus 200 is 270. And therefore we get F is 70. We can double check it in the other one. We get 7 times 50 is 350, right? And 350 from 420 is also 70. So F is 70, so the choice would be G. Okay? I said I was going to show you another way, which is basically equal. So let me clear the whiteboard again. Both of these are really valid. We could set up the original thing in where you have F plus what was it, 3H? Sorry, this is so sloppy. Equals where the heck is the example again? 270? No. Where are we? No, it was oh boy. 4H. It's 270. Okay, we also have F plus, where is the other number? 7H. That's supposed to be an H. Equals 420. So when you have multiple equations like this, you can do math on them. There's a couple of gymnastics we can do to some of this. We can make the H the same number and subtract them that way, but we can also notice that they both have an F. So actually, if we order the two numbers, and this is the same question with the slope, which point do you subtract from which point? So just to make this simpler, I'm going to write the first equation underneath this. I'm going to write it twice. So basically, we can ignore the first one we wrote because we're seeing we can do simple math here. That's 270. I'm sorry, this is so sloppy. So basically, we rewrote this line so we can get rid of that. And what we're going to do is subtract the both of these. We can subtract the one equation from the other. So F minus F is 0. 7 minus 4 is 3. So we get 3H. And 3H equals, we did the 420 minus 270 before, and we got 150. And we still end up with H equals 50 then. So it's the same way of doing it, just through a different mathematical indirection. And then once we get the H50, we can plug it back in and get what the F is. Okay? All right, so that's for that question. That's question number 8. Okay, let me clear the whiteboard. So remember when you're doing the multi-step problems to actually, we don't really need the whiteboard for this question. So this comes down to the good old rotations. Rectangle PQRS above is rotated 180 degrees about the origin to form the rectangle P prime, Q prime, R prime, S prime. What are the coordinates of R prime? So there's a couple ways to do this. One is to memorize the rotation rules. Okay, and let me try to get that popped up here, because I threw those into a file once I noticed that was what the example here was going to be. Give me 1 second, and I'll try to get it to come on the screen. Let's see, we're going to add a preview. Okay, so let me move that over. So those are your standard rotation rules. Wait, it didn't come up yet. So you either need to memorize those or figure out a way to reproduce them on a piece of paper or in your head. They're not too drastic. There's really only two, because they're just opposites of each other, and 180 degrees just means you negate both of them. So you could figure out a pattern there. There's ways to memorize it, yada yada. You could also do the actual rotation twice. Okay, what we're doing is we're taking it from that upper right hand coordinate, and we're spinning it around the origin, so that's going to be in the lower left coordinate. Right, we're rotating at 180 degrees. So if you just memorize the rules, we see xy becomes minus xy. So that would imply the answer is D, because 4,3 maps to minus 4,3. There's another way to look at it, which is that you rotate it twice 90 degrees. So let me bring that up, because I also want you to visualize this. I noticed on some of the other tutors things that people are always asking about rotations. So let me bring up, first I'm going to bring it up rotated 90 degrees. Give me 1 second so I can get it loaded into the software. Okay, there we go there. Give it a second to propagate. Okay, so if you notice, it's now in the upper, it started in the upper right-hand quadrant from the question, and now it's in the upper left-hand quadrant. And notice what happened to the point, right? It's now minus 3, 4. I don't remember what the original point was. It's now minus 3, 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is rotate it one more time, and let me load that. Wait a second, that's not coming up. How do I get out of this? 1 second here, guys. Alright, give that a second to propagate. Point, there we go. Now you see it's in the lower right-hand quadrant. So if we look at the point now, it's minus 4, minus 3. So you can actually rotate your paper to do this. If you don't memorize the rules, and you can't mentally or conceptually do the rotation in your head, just spin your paper around and get the point that way. And you can do this whether it's 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, right? And if we go back to the rotation thing, which I believe is still showing on your screen, the 270s and the 90s are basically equal, because you can go clockwise 90 or counterclockwise 270. You know, so go counterclockwise 90 and clockwise 270. So they're the same x. Right? If I go backwards to say 8:45, it's the same as 8:45. Right? And the 180 degrees, it doesn't care which way you're going because there's 180. So it doesn't care if you go 180 degrees clockwise or 180 degrees counterclockwise. You still end up going 180 degrees. So it's really not going to matter. Okay? So in any event, I did the two rotations for you guys, and you can see exactly what the point is. So you can do this conceptually or mathematically. Okay, what I'm going to do is get rid of those last few capture screens. Boink. Gonna get rid of this one. That didn't work. Why didn't that work? And I'm gonna get rid of the rotation screen as well. All right. So now we're gonna get down to question number 10. And 10's kind of a no-brainer. Wait, let me get rid of some of these too. That. I have other stuff on my screen that you guys can't see, so just give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. That's question number 10. Let me see where the whiteboard is. The whiteboard's over there. Okay. So what is the quotient of the expression above, expressed in scientific notation? Oh, yeah. Don't we love that? So we have, let me get my paper copy so I can write this stuff over again. Whereas question number 10 is here. Okay. So I'm going to flip into this. I get 15.3 times 10 to the, can I even read this? Man, my house is dark. To the minus 8 over 1.5 times 10 to the 4. Okay, so when I see a problem like this, first I want to make sure that I understand it. So I have a minus thing and the divided by something at the bottom. So they both have exponents. They both 10 to the something, and there's two numbers. So what I'm going to basically do is make it into two problems. I'm going to draw a line through here, and I'm going to work on this, and then work on this. Okay, so I have basically what 15.3 divided by 1.5. So this is a standardized test kind of nomenclature that screws up a lot of people. So don't even think of dividing 15.3 by 1.5. Just multiply the top and the bottom of this by 10. And you're going to get 153 over 1.5. This comes up again. This comes up in a lot of standardized testing. And you're going to, I'm even writing in there. You're going to get this bent out of shape by getting the decimal point wrong and stuff. So basically now we have 153. And we're going to divide it by 15. Fifteen goes into 1 0 times. 15 goes into 15 one time. 15 goes into 30. So we're going to get 10 0.6. Did I do that right? No, 15 goes into 30 twice. So then you get 10.2. Okay, and now we're going to work on this part. We have 10 to the minus 8 divided by 10 to the 4. But we know there's a certain rule when there's a denominator that this is the same as 10 to the minus 8 times 10 to the minus 4. Remember, any number to a minus exponent is the same as 1 over that number to the positive exponent. Right? You learned these rules a while ago. So now we just have normal multiplication, and 10 to the minus 8 times 10 to the minus 4 is 10 to the minus 12. So we have 10.2 times 10 to the minus 12. Now, that may have been one of the answers, but where's the question again? It asks for scientific notation. Let me just flip a second here to make sure the thing is still live here. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, part of it fell off the screen, so let me shift that over for you guys slightly. So what we want to know, that's theoretically sufficient, 10.2 times 10 to the minus 12. But normally they want us to get this in the normalized / simplified form. And if you notice, all the answers is 1.02 times something. So the question is, which one is that? Okay. So H is ridiculous unless you did it wrong. Okay. By the way, I'm looking. I have 10 to the 4. There's actually a minus sign there. You can't see it anymore. But when I originally wrote it, I hope I put the minus sign. So H is ridiculous. It can't be H. And if you notice, G is also ridiculous. So we're left between which way do we move that? How do we get from 10.2 to 1.02? And then therefore, which is it 10 to the minus 13 or 10 to the minus 11? Okay, so this is a no-brainer. So what we have to do now is consider this. So to make this 1.02, we're going to divide it by 10. If we're going to divide this side by 10, then this side we have to multiply by 10. So we're going to do times 10 to the 1, right? The 10.02 we divided by 10. So to make this still the same number, we have to multiply the exponent 10 by 10, or 10 to the 1. So now we have 1.02 times what? Well, we have 10 to the minus 12 and 10 to the 1. So we get 10 to the minus 11. It's just normal exponent addition now. And where is the sheet here? So that gives us F. Okay. Okay, so the next question, where are we? 10, 11. Okay, 11 is just the giveaway question. If anybody gets this wrong, you deserve to not be taking the SHSAT. So pi is normally 22 over 7, they say to use. That's not really going to help you here. Or just remember it's 3.14. So 4 minus 3.14 is not negative. It's a positive 86 or whatever, okay? So A is not the answer. Okay, the second one. 3 times 3 is already 9. So even if you don't know what 1.14 times 3 is, you already know B is positive. Okay? Okay, C. 12 minus, well, 4, if pi is just 3, then the 4 times pi is definitely higher than 12. So that's negative. That's definitely negative. And then D says 3.14, so you have 9 times 3 is 27. 27 is so far away from 36 because it's 0.14. In other words, it's basically a tenth and a little more of 9. So a tenth of 9 is about 1. So it's going to be about 27 point something, or 28 point something is what you're going to end up getting with the 9 times pi. Okay? So the answer is definitely C. So this one was a no-brainer. And you should, and bing bang boom, you should be able to do this. Okay? Okay, 12. Let me just make sure this is actually showing on the screen properly. No, it wasn't. Alright, so let me bring back the previous question. Sorry about that, people. Again, the first one's positive, the second one's positive, the third one's not positive, the fourth one's definitely positive. Okay, so let's go to 12. I realize now I spoke about all that while it was off the screen. So what we're going to do again is we're not going to look at the question and we're not going to look at the answers. We're just going to look at the figure. So we have a triangle inside of a triangle. Again, I don't know what they're called, but let's say we're using angle P as the pivot point. So we have triangle NPQ. I don't know what they're calling it, but that's what I'm going to call it. Or QPN, and MPR or RPM. And I noticed that on the inner smaller triangle, that the length of the left-hand side is 5, and the so-called bottom one, or the base, is 10. And that's from N to P. And I also noticed from M to P, they're labeling that extra additional part X. All right. I'm also noticing that the relationship between the left-hand side of the inner triangle and its base is double. So I have 5 to 10. So I have no idea what they're going to ask me, but they're either going to ask me what X is or what the length of MR is. That's what I'm guessing. Okay? So the question says, in the figure above, triangle MPR, the larger one, is similar to NPQ. Okay, they're giving it in the same order. If the length of NQ is 10, what is the length of MR in terms of X? Well, since they're similar triangles, we can set up a relationship. And there's a couple things we can say about that. I think I've said a few of them already. But we can talk about 5 is to 10 as X plus 5 is to the unknown number. So if it's double, if the left-hand side of the larger triangle, if the length of the small triangle is double, 5 to 10, then X plus 5 times 2 is the length of MR. So X plus 5, parenthesis around that, times 2, or rather 2 times paren X plus 5 paren, gives us 2X plus 10, or F. Okay? Again, this one seems utterly trivial, especially once you realize the ratios there. Once you do the ratios, there's no math here. Okay? Let me go back to the screen and make sure this is all still showing correctly. No, it's not. How did this happen? I did the same problem again. Okay, something's odd here. Wait, did the stream freeze? I have a problem. The stream froze. Let me see here. Yeah, something went wrong with this stream. Well, you know what? I'm just going to finish up because these ones were simpler. And I see there's only one more question left. And if you're following on your own paper, you could see it. So 13 says, let me just make sure this is not showing up or not. In fact, I don't even know if the stream is going orally either. Okay, in any event, it says the symbol XYZ means XY plus XZ plus XY over 2 plus ZY. What is the value of 3, 4, 8? So this is just text substitution. So if XYZ means that, then 3, 4, 8 means, let's see, 3 times 8 plus 3 times 4 over 2 plus 8 times 4. So let's actually plug the numbers in. So XZ is 24. 24 plus XY, 12. 24, that's 36. Divided by 2 is 18. So we have 18 plus ZY is 32. So 18 plus 32, 40, 50 is 50. So 13 should be C. All right. And that's the last problem. Hopefully this is still streaming. And hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to have to figure out what went wrong and when and where. I have a feeling it was when I removed those other slides that I popped up earlier. I'm not sure why this happened, but actually let me double check this while this is still going on. I want to try to double check and see what's going wrong. Nah, I can't detect it. Okay, in any event, guys, have a good evening. Again, my name is Greg. Actually, let me see if I can bring me back on this. Okay, I'm showing on here. Am I going to pop up there? Okay, I'm not sure. So again, my name is Greg. I'm from GregsTutoringNYC at gmail.com. If you have any questions about the SHSAT or other specialized tests or state tests, please feel free to email me. I also obviously do tutoring. So if you know somebody who needs tutoring or you need tutoring or a spouse or a family member, whatever, don't hesitate to contact me. And I wish you guys good luck. I'm going to try to find out what went wrong here and try to see that it doesn't happen the next time. In the meantime, good luck on the other things, and I'll try to do some other streams with some other examples, maybe using past years' SHSATs or some other things. All right, people, I don't know if this is coming up, so peace out.